Welcome back to our mini-series taking a look at all 10 athletes competing at this year's Rogue Invitational. Today we're going to be taking a look at Kevin Ferris. Kevin, an underrated strongman, always someone that performs extremely well, but one of the names we don't hear people often talking about when it comes to winning big shows. So how do we feel Kevin can do at the 6 events we've got at this year's Rogue?
Kevin has only competed 3 times this last year. The first was back in May when he was in Group 1 at the World's Strongest Man. He made it through to the stone-off but unfortunately was knocked out and unable to progress to the final. Next up for Kevin was the Shaw Classic where he took 6th place overall. And most recently we saw him back at the Giants Live World Tour Finals in Glasgow, where not only did he break his existing nickel stone world record, but he took 3rd place overall.
So Kevin was really solid at the World Tour Finals. He's competed at World's Strongest Man 4 times now. He's only made the final the 1 time though. And I think a lot of that comes down to stones not being his best event in the last few years at World's Strongest Man. Stones to get into the final are very, very important. Yeah. Carrying stones, however, completely different kettle of fish. And it just shows with athletes, different events, different results. But how does Kevin rack up with the 6 events we have at the Rogue Invitational?
Event number 1 then is the deadlift for reps, and this is an 18-inch deadlift, 1,000 pounds. And we should remind people at Rogue they're not allowed to wear suits, are they?
And 1,000 pounds for an event for reps is brutal. I can see 0 reps happening for some of these athletes. And unfortunately, potentially, Kevin could be one of those athletes. His deadlift at the World Tour Finals recently, much improved. We spoke to him backstage. He'd been suffering with a little bit of nerve damage that had been affecting his deadlift. But 2020 World's Strongest Man, they did an 18-inch deadlift for max. Suits were allowed in that competition, and his best lift was 440 kilos. He's going to need to pull 455 just to get 1 rep.
God, that sucks.
It's a very heavy event to start with. I hear they're going to be using a squat bar, so it's not going to flex as much as maybe some bars will as well. Okay. So it's going to be a true weight in the hands. Going to take some big deadlifts to get some reps on this bar.
Yeah. Event number 2 is the sear dumbbell ladder, and that's 4 sear dumbbells, and then they have to rep out the 4th if they get to it.
Yeah, and if you look at the last 2 competitions that Kevin's been in, he's had dumbbell in both of them. The Shaw Classic, he managed 2 reps on the dumbbell there, and the World Tour Final, which was a lighter dumbbell, he only managed 3 as well. So the recent form on this event isn't really saying this is going to be a standout event for Kevin.
So the last event on day 1 is the Husafel sandbag carry for distance. Now surely, I think this could be a good event for Kevin. I don't think we have anything to back that up though, do we?
There's not a huge amount of data in terms of him doing this event before, but we know he's good at loading, we know he's fit, he's athletic, he moves well with weight. You'd expect if he's going to get some points back on day 1, this is the event he needs to do it on. The first 2 events, really, based on what we've seen him do in the past, aren't going to be his best events. He needs to smash this one if he's going to challenge for a good placing overall.
The first event on day 2 is the roller coaster, which is loading 3 sandbags into the coaster.
How much do you love this event? Every time you say it, I just can...
Roller coaster, it just fills me with joy.
Almost as much as me saying wide, but yeah, I know how much you can't wait to see this event.
I cannot. And I think Kevin could be brilliant at this event because he's done very well on the medley at the Shaw Classic, hasn't he?
The last 2 years he's done very well on this type of event. Obviously the Shaw Classic, they got the frame first into the arm over arm. But no frame this time, but there's loading. Loading sandbags is something Kevin's been very, very good at in the past. His loading at Worlds is great. His loading at almost any comp we ever see him is really good. He's fast. He's got an immense grip on him. And he's been very good at arm over arm type events. So this is an event he will want to smash and start day 2 as strong as possible.
Event number 2, day 2, is the yoke into log lift.
Yeah, and you know, he's a solid log lifter. He's not the best log lifter out there, but he's very, very solid in terms of his performances, good for reps. His yoke, for someone that moves so well on a frame or a farmer's walk, is not his favourite event. I think He's going to have to be one of these athletes that gets through the yoke as efficiently as possible to have the energy then to do all the reps on the log. So it could be an interesting one. He's going to be in the same kind of boat as a few other athletes on this one. I think he's going to be somewhere mid to lower table on this event. He's not the monster log presser. He's not the super fast yoke runner. So he's just going to have to combine it all together and really get the best out of himself on this one.
Great endurance though, Kevin. So maybe he'll be feeling fresher than some of the other athletes.
Yeah, he could well be. A very fit athlete. I think if it was a frame into a log, he'd be a lot happier, but the yoke performance isn't quite as good as his frames.
And then finally we have the Invistone replicas over the hitching post, and we said earlier Atlas stones have held Kevin back a couple of times getting through to the World's Strongest Man final, but this is slightly different.
It is slightly different. Natural stones, you've got to figure them out. It's going to be the last event. Again, just based on the performances, stones haven't been his best event. That doesn't mean so much, you know. It's not Atlas stones. We saw that last year with Tom Stoltman getting beat by Martins, who is an exceptional stone lifter of any type of stone.
I was going to say.
But I think Kevin's going to need to be in a good position. It's going to come down to where he's placed. And I say this so often when it comes to that last event. But on paper, again, it's not his best event. I think for Kevin, there's 2 great events for him. 4 events that he's going to have to work hard on, and he will. We know he's in good shape. He was talking positively about his training, and we know he is, I hate to say it, but a pocket rocket. You know, the smaller athlete, but he surprises everyone with what he's capable of.
I was going to say, he's one of those, like, we've been guilty of underestimating him before, and I'm playing it very cautious this time, and I know he watches. But he does really have the ability to surprise people, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. And it's tough because, you know, I know all these athletes pretty well now, and they are all incredible. But you've got 10 of the best athletes going head to head. There has to be some give. You know, you've got
come first, can they?
Yeah, you've got the best guys going head to head. If I was comparing these guys to an average strongman, they're all incredible. They're all great at almost every event. But you're going up against the pinnacle. So for me, there's 2 very, very good events for Kevin. 4 events, I think at this level, he's going to struggle. He's going to need the performance of his life to get into the top half.
With that said then, Lozzie, you have heavily hinted, but how do you think Kevin's going to do overall?
Well, as always, I love to be proven wrong, and he proved me wrong very recently, so my predictions are never the best to go on. But no. I think Kevin is going to struggle. I think with 4 events in there against this opposition where he could potentially drop a lot of points, I don't think Kevin will be in the top half of the competition. I think somewhere around 8th or 7th place.
Ooh, ouch. When we saw Kevin in Glasgow, I think he can be really good at the Rogue Invitational this year. I don't know why. Like, now we've gone through the breakdown, you've started planting some seeds of doubt.
Don't listen to me.
I'm not. I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to put Kevin around about 5th or 6th. I think he will be capable of.
Awesome. I mean, Kevin is a fantastic strongman. He really is. It's just when you look at the individual events,
I know
the past performances just don't add up to me thinking, right, he's going to be challenging for that top half or that podium position.
We said the exact same thing before Glasgow, though, which is why I'm starting to not trust us at all.
At Glasgow, we did say, if you kind of watch the video back, we said Kevin could easily be in the top 3.
To be fair. Yeah,
whereas, you know, you knew he had the nickel stone walker. I don't
Bankers.
see... Yeah. And with this competition having more events, a higher level of opposition as well. You know, you've got the likes of Alexei competing in this one. You've got Martins competing in this one. Maxime, you know, Trey Mitchell, the standard is higher. There's more potential athletes that could get between him on certain events. So as much as I would love Kevin to prove me wrong, I just can't see it.
There we go then, guys. Do you agree or disagree with our thoughts? How do you think Kevin's going to do this year at the Rogue Invitational?
So we're getting through this mini-series. We hope you guys are enjoying it. Remember, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with the last 3 soon.